Yes, you are being recorded. Okay, so welcome to another episode of Fuerte como Mujer as the Strongest Woman. My name is Andrea Montesinos, and I will be your host in this opportunity. Today, we have a very, very special guest from Brazil. She is from the 84 category, and but I am not going to introduce her. I will ask her to introduce herself. So, Marina, welcome. Can you introduce yourself?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. My name is Marina Garcia, and I'm Brazilian. I am 33 years old, and I am in the 84 under 84s category.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for your time. I think that you have a pretty short time to do these kind of things. Yeah. Not too much free time. So thank you very much for making the time for us.
Sure, it's my
Okay. And we are going to start by asking you when and how did you start powerlifting? If you can tell us a little bit.
yeah. So I think I had just turned 25 when I started, and I was at the beginning of my bachelor's in physical education. So it was right at the beginning of uni, and I was I was really interested in changing a little bit my style of training. I have been doing like bodybuilding for a while.
Wow.
From like I was maybe 19, 20. I was very into bodybuilding. And then when I started uni, I started gaining knowledge and being interested in weightlifting, but the Olympic weightlifting.
Ah,
That
okay.
was the first thing that I tried, and a little bit of CrossFit. And I was kind of like trying things out. And then I actually found on Instagram, I saw, I think it was Marisa Inda. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
I came across her Instagram and her training and her videos, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like, she's so strong. And then I kind of wanted to, I started looking, I started doing research in what was powerlifting and where could I do it in Brazil. And it kind of went from there. I went to Rio at that time in my life. I'm in Rio, and I found a specific powerlifting gym, and that's where I started. I was just, yeah, it was very random. And then there was going to be and yeah, there was going to be a competition coming up. And you know how the powerlifting community is. And you start, and people are like, oh, come on, let's go, let's do it, just try it out and see how it goes. If
Yeah,
you
the
like
hype
it.
is.
Exactly. So
Yes.
I was hyped by my coach at the time and by a few of the guys that were training there. And there was another girl that was new, and she was like, "Oh, if you go, I go." And we kind of
Oh.
went, yeah, yeah. And we're like, "Okay, let's do it. Let's just do it." And it went from there. I did it, and I fell in love with it.
Yeah, it's like love at first seeing. It's the say it in English, right? Yes, because it is funny for me because every time that I speak to powerlifter with, including myself, we discovered powerlifting at some point of our lives in the gym,
Yes.
but we didn't start powerlifting and going to the gym to train powerlifting. It is quite funny
Yeah.
because you
It
mentioned
came-
that you start with bodybuilding.
Yeah. Exactly.
Wow, totally different discipline and targets and goals and everything. It's different because it's more related to aesthetics, as I
It,
guess, more than strength, I will say.
Definitely. But at that time in my life, it was it made sense for me to make that change. I think bodybuilding is very strict, and I'm someone, although I like the whole aesthetic, I think I've had a lot of problems with how I looked and how I saw myself and how I perceived myself growing up. And I've always been like a big girl or strong girl, and yeah, that's always been my body type. And I feel like I've always tried to run away from it and be like
Oh,
super slim and lose weight and try to be something different than what I actually was, instead of accepting my body and working with my strengths, I wanted to go a different way. And then at that time of my life, I was starting to accept myself better. You know, I was starting, I would say that I was starting to kind of like really like and love myself. It was the whole that whole process of, yeah, self love. No, it really was,
Wow.
and it showed me a different perspective, because yeah, when you're into bodybuilding, it's all about aesthetics and about how you look and you train for that. And then with powerlifting it's different, because it's not necessarily how you look, although you usually have to fit into a weight category. You don't
Yeah.
have to look, yeah, exactly, but you don't have to look a certain way to do well. So yeah, it was a all of that kind of like came to me, and I was like, wow, this really feels right for me.
Wow. I can totally share the imagine that you have about powerlifting because nobody knows, and this is going to appear in the podcast, of course. But when I started to go to the gym, I started to lose weight, of course,
Yeah,
as
most
many
of
people
us
do.
girls, right? I think
Yeah.
that's
But then it came across the idea of competing in something because I have been all my life a sport woman, but in at school, at middle school, at uni, something like that, but not a professional, but a professional sport woman, I will say. And the first trainer that the first coach that I have, that the people, the yeah, the one that the gym assigned you
yeah,
was a builder, sorry. So he started to mention that it was something called bodybuilding and something called powerlifting, that it was two different disciplines, but you can compete in both. You
yeah,
can go for powerlifting or you can go for bodybuilding. And I started to picture myself in both, and I couldn't in neither of them. So I started like doing the preparation for something that I didn't know.
which
And I, yeah, at some point I create the discipline, the habits to go to the gym, have a diet, like healthy life in general. So at that moment I said at some point I will let powerlifting or bodybuilding to choose me, and that will be it. So one day someone came across to my training session, and I was squatting like 140 kilos, something like that. And someone else told me like, you're really strong. And I was like, why? For me, it was normal
mm-hmm.
that every woman can lift that weight. And it was like, no, that's not heavy. It's not like my maximum, my PR. And she started to mention like, I cannot go above 100 kilos.
Yeah,
And neither of us, the rest of the woman, like were like, no, that's too much, you are so strong. And I was like, okay, I'm going to train for this. Maybe it appears that I am strong.
that you
So
actually
yes, in that case I will say as you that power lifter choose me. So it's a very very special thing that came across to someone else that has the same feeling.
yeah,
So
definitely,
yeah, it's kind of a crazy thing that you cannot explain to someone else that hasn't lived in it.
exactly.
So thank you very much for that, and it makes me cry so a little bit
Oh,
because it brings memories. That's it.
yeah.
Okay, dear. Speaking about you how you start and powerlifting itself, can you tell me, because we know as powerlifter that it's different in each country.
Mhm.
So how would you describe powerlifting in Brazil?
Powerlifting in Brazil. When I started, it was it was a really small community, and although we had like Ana Rosa, Davi, Coimbra, Eric Oishi, we already had a few names, but I didn't know any of them.
Oh,
So yeah, I didn't know who any of those people were when I started, and I actually, like I said, I think found out about people outside of the country first, like
Oh,
international athletes, than the actual athletes in my country. But it was a very small community. Um, yeah, I was lucky to just kind of like it felt like I really fell into the place. I would say that I competed in the under 84s. It was never a full. It still isn't as populated as a lot as some of the other weight categories, because I feel like a lot of the girls in Brazil are a bit smaller. Like
oh,
I consider tall in Brazil, and even though like when I go to Europe or when I go to other places, I'm not really that tall, but in Brazil I am. In South America in general, I think people are a bit
yeah,
short.
short. Yeah.
Yeah. So you see a lot of the lower weight classes are more populated than the heavier, and I feel like a lot of the heavier girls as well. They don't feel confident enough a lot of the time to actually put themselves forward into the sport.
Yes.
So
You
exactly,
have yes, a pretty good vision about it.
yeah,
It's the same that I think, because I am from the 84 plus category,
yeah,
so it is quite of a thing in here, because when you are bigger, you are not seems like you train or you are a professional athlete,
yeah.
and that's a very misconception about it, because
Yeah, people
it's
think
not.
you need to have a certain physique in order to do a sport, and that's not true. So yeah, and I do believe that it's a lot harder for the heavier girls, us in this case in powerlifting, to actually be confident in doing it.
Yes,
But yeah, now I would say that powerlifting is growing quite rapidly in Brazil. I feel like um, with Instagram, with TikTok, with all of those platforms, I feel that yeah, it's growing. It's still not easy because there aren't a lot of specific gyms. I don't train in a powerlifting specific gym, so a lot of the time I have to, maneuver around and figure things out in how can I train properly. When sometimes I would, if I'm training, if I'm peaking for a competition, I'll probably have to travel and go somewhere else
yes,
in order to train with yeah, with the official equipment and that. So yeah, we have still, it's not as easy. I spent some time in the UK, and it's definitely not as easy as it is over there and as well known, because people over there, they will come up to me in the gym, and if I tell them that I do powerlifting, they know what it is. But in
yeah,
Brazil, yeah, in Brazil, and I feel like in a lot of South America in general, people will ask you, but they won't really know what powerlifting is, so you kind of have to give them.
explain.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have
But
to go like
and
it's
I
a
feel like social
squat,
media.
deadlifting, and yeah, yeah. In Chile it's the same. In when you train in commercial gyms, you have to explain what a powerlifting is. Even your friends
Yeah,
doesn't didn't know about it and don't know what you exactly do, but you lift weights and that's it.
exactly. You're very strong, but yeah, they don't know exactly.
But I have no idea what is powerlifting, but she did it.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's quite the same in Chile. You have to explain a lot about powerlifting, but it's growing as well.
Yeah,
So I'm
that's great.
happy that in Brazil it's also good.
No, yeah, I'm very excited with the growth of the sport, especially over here. Yeah, I'm excited. I love when there's a lot of girls competing in the same weight category with me. I actually love when there's someone that's like right there with me and it's challenging, because I enjoy that healthy competition. I enjoy when I'm competing, I actually like having that little bit of that pressure. Oh, if I have to hit it,
Yeah.
if not, you know, it's just nice to kind of like go there and be like, oh, okay, listen, I really need to do my best if I want to win, or if I want to be in the podium, or if I want to do
Yes.
like that. So yeah, I enjoy it. I love it. It's like it's very exciting.
Yeah, no, for sure. I can imagine in my class there are, sorry, like 5 girls in Chile, but
Yeah,
in the south where I came from, there is only me.
yeah,
and that's it. So it was very nice to have the opportunity to share like stage and the meet itself with some other girls from the same class.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun when there's a lot of other girls doing it.
Yeah, and the pressure that uh, it is not enough if I hit the openers and that's it and I'm going to win. Yes, I'm the best one. No.
No, yeah. You
It's
actually
like,
have to work for it. You have to be on.
yeah, it's
You have
like
to get
count,
everything right. Yeah.
counting each kilo if it is going to work or not and going for this and calculate things and yeah, it's quite fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so I imagine that for you as well. And dear, speaking about meetings, can you please tell me which is your most important meet yet?
My most important meet yet, I would have to say it was my last Worlds, the last time I competed Worlds in Sin City in South Africa, which was 2022. Um, it was, yeah, I was nominated third place. So it was very important because I was right there with the big girls, like right there, like literally fighting for a podium or to try and get a medal. Um, at the same time, yeah, that meet was really hard for me because of that pressure. It was a lot of pressure, obviously, when you have the chance um to when you have a chance at Worlds is a lot of pressure. And I traveled there. I was not by myself. I was with my boyfriend, and but it was my first time competing without my coach. It was my first
Wow.
time, yeah, at Worlds, like without a team, because only three people from Brazil went, only three athletes. We didn't really have any coaches with us, except for Mayara, which her coach is her partner, so they went together. But it was like she was competing on the under 47, so right on the first day, and I was like on the last, on one days. So yeah, it was very hard for us to be there for each other. It wasn't really it didn't really work. And yeah, I was by myself without my coach. It was hard. I tried my best. We went all out. I was trying for the podium. I was like, you know what, I'm here and I have the chance, so I'm just gonna aim for it and try. It didn't
Yes.
work out the way I wanted. It wasn't my best competition. Yeah, I can't say that, but at the same time I learned so much. And considering that I was pretty much by myself, yeah, it was a great learning experience, and I still finished in sixth place, which was my best ever. Still, from worlds to worlds, had been going up.
Mhm.
um so yeah, that is definitely, I would say, the most important so far, because I was right there where I want to be, like fighting at the top.
Yes.
So yeah, it was a dream come true, and now I'm trying to
Oh,
get there again.
of course, and you will be. Don't worry. Yeah, finger crossed.
No, no,
And
I'm working for it, so I know that
yeah,
I'm gonna get there again.
of course, but it's a secret.
For now. So,
Okay. And dear, was it your first time in South Africa as well?
no, at Worlds,
Yeah.
no, it was my third time. My first time was in Canada, Calgary. I think it was 2018, and then 2019, I went to Sweden, Helsingborg,
Uh-huh.
and then yeah, and then the whole COVID situation
Oh yeah.
kind of happened, yeah, and then yeah, then my next one was 2022 in Sun City, and yeah, and now hopefully my next one will be next year, hopefully.
Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah. Thank you very much, dear. But I was asking, I'm so sorry if I wasn't clear. It was it your first time in South Africa?
Oh yeah, 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 it was my
Oh,
first time.
okay.
100% my first time in South
How was
Africa.
that experience? How was it as we are from South America?
It was really great, I don't think I got, because Sun City was such an isolated area. I didn't get to explore as much, because yeah, I was, when you go, at least for me, when I go to Worlds, I'm very involved in the competition. It's like, yeah, yeah, you want to watch everything. So, and because it was like an area that was kind of far from let's say from the main cities. Um, yeah, we stayed around in the I stayed around in the competition, but I was so impressed. I did this a safari and all of that, and it was
Ah,
beautiful. I felt at home, to be honest, because I felt like there were a lot of things that remind me of Brazil, and
yeah.
I feel
That's
yeah,
why I asked. Yeah.
yeah. I feel like a lot of places in Africa in South America, I feel like we have a lot of similarities in so many ways. And yeah, I loved South Africa. Was really great. It was, yeah, I felt at home. I really did feel at home there.
Yeah, such a lovely experience. I I can imagine that it was quite fun regarding, of course, the competition and the preparation and so on and so forth. But I hope that you enjoy the time there.
I definitely did. I did.
Okay, thank you, dear. At some point of this interview, you mentioned something about your coach,
Yeah,
that at Worlds, it was the first time that you didn't compete with your coach at your side.
yeah.
So, regarding that aspect, and speaking about coaches in general, how important would you say that they have been in your life?
Oh, very important. I feel so the coach that I was with for the longest, which is was Eddie Koishi. Now I have actually just recently changed, and it wasn't because I was unhappy. Quite the opposite. I've worked with him for such a long period of time, and I've achieved so many things. I feel like he's a great coach. He's one of the I would say he's one of the main names in powerlifting in Brazil. um but yeah, and when I started with him, one of the reasons was because I remember seeing him when I started, when I had a yeah another coach. I remember seeing him, and I remember how um the way that he was with his athletes, and how just the way that he, you know when you see someone at the back in a meet, and you feel like, oh, I want to be in that guy's team. He knows
Yes.
what he's doing. He really knows what he's doing, and he's yeah. So that's kind of like what made me want to go up to him and ask him, oh, can you be my coach? And I was training with him for 6 years, and yeah, he we did great things. I feel like obviously it's not ever only the coach, and it's not ever only the athlete. It's both working
Mhm.
together. So yeah, that's and now I'm training with Davi Coimbra, which is another big name in Brazil. I would say that yeah, they're very good friends as well. And I've had contact with both of them, so I would always think like, oh yeah, I would love to learn, to be able to learn from both of them. And I had a long time to learn with Eric, which I'm forever grateful. I always tell him that. And now I have the opportunity to learn with another great um, trainer and athlete. So I'm excited because this is new. So now I'm excited for that, perspective.
Wow. Was it hard to go from one to another?
Definitely, it was
Oh,
very hard, and it was kind of like breaking up it is,
yeah.
but I would say, yeah, in a way, it is. Obviously, it was very hard, and I feel like it was harder because there wasn't really anything that I was unhappy with. Like I said, I was very happy. It was just something in the back of my mind that would tell me like, it was just that thing like, oh, I want to try something new. I want to see if like everything's been going so great, but when you have that little thing, oh, I want to explore a different perspective, with someone different, with someone else that I also admire, that I also see has great athletes and is very intelligent, and is someone that I admire. So it was a long process for me of having that idea in my mind, and thinking, and then and actually building up the courage to go and talk to him, because I feel
Oh,
like for him as well, I feel like for him as well was not that easy, for me to just come up to him and tell him, oh, I would, I wanted to stop training with you, because yeah, we both had a great relationship, and we still do. It hasn't changed, but yeah, in just answering your question, it was definitely difficult to change for me.
Wow.
It's a
Yes.
scary step when you're like when you're going so when things are going so well with a coach, and you've never really I never really had any problems. I've always had, ever since I started with him, I've had great meets. I went to Worlds 3 times. I went to South American meets. So yeah, it's a scary thing to kind of like to start something new in it, to come out of your comfort zone and change coaches. I feel like it's easier if something is not going well, if things are going
Yeah.
like badly.
I was
Yeah,
going to mention the same. Yes.
lean on, no, this, I don't like this or I don't like that, so I want to make a change. But for me, it was like, I'm happy with everything, but I want to have a new experience and a new perspective, and that was it.
Yeah, and no, and quite the opposite. Don't picture it just in that way, because when you are like, in my case, I'm so sorry to be so me
No.
myself preference, but I had two coaches that I cannot say that it was good. And I
Yeah.
was starting. I just started powerlifting last year on October. So I didn't know so much, but I had the feeling that it wasn't going well.
Mm-hmm.
And well, it happened something really, really, really bad. And I went to nuts without a coach.
Yeah.
And then there was the opportunity to keep going and start like going around the world and be be more professional than I am today. But it was this kind of little thing that, okay, I am not, no, the thing that I am not smart as I want to coach myself, but it for me it wasn't the time, it wasn't the environment to coach myself.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good idea. But there was this something, the scary thing, saying like, is it going to happen to me again? Would I find a great coach ever in my life? So I found the
You
right
found-
guy.
okay.
He's from Spain, and he's one of the best. It happened to me the same, that I came across him by a friend that is Chilean too, and he's training with Alvaro in this case.
Yeah.
Uh, and yes, I love the way that she posted his athletes and
Mm-hmm.
the nice things that he mentioned and the studies behind. He's a very, very smart guy, a very literate guy. So it was like, hey, can you coach me, please? But with a very scary feeling that I was going to be disappointed again. And
Yeah.
he understood that. He came across to my Instagram and he saw me before I show him my career.
Yeah.
So
So
he
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 kind of
was keeping
about
an
you.
eye on me. Yeah. And it was like a very, very natural relationship that it's at the moment it cannot be explained. And I cannot say any bad thing about him because he's the best one.
Yeah.
I will not change him in my entire career. So that was, I was asking you because I guess that you had the same feeling from your previous coach. So I cannot picture myself leaving Alvaro. So
Yeah. Well,
that was the hard thing.
yeah, I felt like that for a long time. I feel like it was after I had my baby. It was obviously after I had my baby, and it was after I spent some time not competing and some time not doing powerlifting. And yeah, and then it started coming and coming, and then a lot of things change when you become a mom. At least a lot of everything changed for me. So I felt like it was natural and it was at the right time because everything was changing in my life.
Oh
um
yeah.
yeah, I don't know if it had anything to do with that as well. And I felt like, you know what, I am going to go ahead and take this step and try something different while my whole life is different. So
Yeah, maybe that will be it.
Maybe, see?
Maybe we
We'll
discovered
find out.
something
Fine.
interesting.
I I feel like as an athlete, yeah, I feel like it's important to have different perspectives. But I also do feel like, and I let me rephrase that. I feel like it's important as well, when you spend that you spend enough time with someone, and that you actually get and give the most in the relationship. So hopefully he learned a lot from me as an athlete, as well as I learned from him as a coach. And we made, I feel that's how I feel about my relationship with Eric. I feel like we made the most out of it for a very long time. And then it come to this time when it was like, okay, I'm still getting a lot, but I feel like now if I change coaches, I will have this whole thing happen again. I will learn a lot of different things from someone new, and they will learn from me as well, and we'll have a different, yeah, that's as best as I can put. And I feel like that comes in with a bit of more maturity, especially not only as a person but in the sport as well, and cycles and things like that, going through things.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't I didn't imagine in that way, but yes, you have a really good point.
Yeah,
Maybe it's about changing and that's it.
exactly. I'm not someone that is scared of change as well. I change a
Yeah.
lot. I've moved a lot from place to place, and so I feel like that comes quite naturally for me. Maybe that as well. It wasn't, as like I said, it wasn't easy, but it was something that I felt like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take my chance and try something new.
Yeah, well, very psychologically effort there.
Yeah, yeah, but
Quite a thing. And well, let's keep speaking about psychologically things. But in terms of the lifting part, how would you face or how do you face an important lift?
um. I feel like I am definitely someone who, when I'm in a competition environment, when I'm in the meet environment, when I'm lifting, I get nervous, as everyone does, but I feel like I'm able to, how can I say it? I'm able to use that to my advantage. So I always tell, sometimes I get new lifters asking me, "Oh, I'm so nervous. And I tell them it's a good thing to be nervous, because there's adrenaline running in your body, and if you use it the right way, it will push you to hit your PRs, to be strong, to go there and like be super focused. So I always say that I use my nervousness, because I do get nervous, but I use it to my advantage, especially at the beginning of the competition when I always say squats are the worst for me, not because I don't
Yeah,
like, but because it's the first thing you're doing, and you're just like, oh my gosh, just that first squat, when you hit it, when
yeah,
it's when it's on the board, then I finally can breathe, and I'm like, okay, I'm in now.
yes, yes. I have the same feeling. I think that the worst thing that can happen to me, and at to this point it doesn't, but the worst thing that can happen to me is fail the first squat. That
Yeah,
would be
I
like
agree.
no, yeah, no, really mental breakdown at that point. But yes, once you are on board, as you mentioned, you are like, okay, this
Yeah,
is just something that I have been doing many times, so it's nothing new, so I can do it.
yeah.
But yes, I can relate with that feeling. I am not going to lie.
No, yeah, but it's also like, it's something that's matured a lot, and I feel like with powerlifting, even though you go on the platform on your own pretty much, or with just your coach by your side, it's like you go there and you're lifting the weights yourself, but every time you have a team behind you, things tend to work better, because even though yeah, you're the one lifting, but just having people there for you, and having the right coach, having the right team, having a good team, having people around, having fun. This is something that I like, something I hit on a lot. Like, powerlifting has to be fun for me to continue to do it. It's always been fun, and as long as I have fun, as I go to a meet and I have fun and I don't freak out and I don't like beat myself up if things don't go my way, as long as I'm having fun, I'm having a good time, I'm learning, I'm sharing, I'm meeting new people, then I'm happy and I'll keep doing. So
Yes, many people said that powerlifting is a very individual sport, and I will say quite the opposite.
yeah, it can be, but at the same time it isn't. I feel like on the days that matter, when you go to the competitions, even when you go to the big one, I feel like on the big ones even more, you need even more those people by your side, your
Yeah.
team, your coaches. So yeah, you're there, you're on the like in the platform right there
Yeah.
lifting by yourself, but you're actually not.
Yeah, it's quite rare because I I will not be at this point of my career personally if I haven't had my guys right my side. So it is not a very very bad individual, but I can relate with that. You are the one that is hitting the kilos on the bar, but there is a team behind you that is right like prepared to hug you and
Yeah,
congratulate you once you hit your PRs and your scores itself. And that will be not the case and not quite fun if you are alone.
exactly. I
Yeah.
agree.
So thank you very much with that, my dear. And speaking with not being alone anymore, I know that you recently had your baby.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you please tell me a little bit how would you handle this beautiful stage of your life of being a mom, but still doing powerlifting?
Yeah. So, let's
I'm not
let's
good.
do it. Like, I'm gonna start saying by I'm gonna start by saying that I'm not someone that romanticizes being a mom. Like being a mom is hard work,
Yeah.
and um, my pregnancy actually happened. I did. It wasn't planned. It wasn't something that I was trying to do. It
Yeah.
wasn't. Yeah, it happened, and I embraced it, and I felt like, when I had my baby, if being pregnant and an athlete, like when you get, it's hard. It was hard for me for a period of my pregnancy where I couldn't really train the way I was training before, and I felt like, oh, I missed it, and I spent a long time like kind of like muting people on Instagram because I didn't want to see a lot of the powerlifting stuff related, because it made me feel like it made me feel like, that feeling like, okay, I'm doing something, but at the same time you're comparing yourself to other people.
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing this and I'm not. So I had to really be wise in how I was using my social media at that time, and even when I right when I went back to training. So I had my baby in February of 2023, and I actually had to get C-section.
Wow.
So yeah, so I waited. I went back to training actually 60, more or less, maybe. I think it was 2 months after she was born. But I'm gonna say this: I was only able to do this because I have a good support system. So I'm with my mom at the moment,
Oh,
and my brother is here as well. But yeah, my mom obviously helped me with everything, and my mom was able to watch her while I went to the gym.
wow.
So I feel like when you're a mom, even if you're not an athlete, you need having a support system will make everything different for you.
Easier.
When you have someone that you can count on, and the more people you have, the easier it kind of gets, because you have more people to rely on and to help you in in a period of that is super hard, because I feel like your life kind of goes 360 when you become a mom.
Yeah.
As much as you hear people saying what motherhood is about, you don't know until you're actually there, and your life changed completely out of nowhere. You don't sleep no more. You can't sleep no more. You have someone, yeah, exactly. You have someone waking up. You have to feed. You literally have like a whole person that depends on you for everything, for eating, for sleeping, for literally being alive. you have a little person that depends on you. So I would say that the first 6 months were very hard for me, with all of that, with all of those changes, and your hormones are going crazy. And yeah, you know, I wish, when I look back now, I wish I could have been happier in those moments. I wasn't as happy as I feel like people expect, society expects moms to be, because they
Mhm.
expect you to be, oh my gosh, you just had a baby, so this is, but it's very difficult and it's exhausting. So, and I was exhausted, and but the gym always keeps me together, kind of going to, and and that was the thing. Powerlifting for me was like, that is the one thing that I didn't want to lose about myself before being a
Yeah,
mom, because
yeah,
yeah, for a long period of time, is all that you are, is literally, it consumes your
yeah,
whole life being a mom. So the only thing, and it kind of still is now. My baby's like almost 1.5 now. She still depends on me a lot, but a little bit less. But it was the only thing that I had. It was the only moment that I have to be me, to
for me,
not be.
yeah.
Exactly. It was my only moment. So I was like, my mom understood as well, and my mom would save my baby. I usually would put her to sleep and then go to the gym,
Oh,
and then my mom would be with her if she wakes up or if anything.
uh-huh.
But yeah, it was and it still is my moment, and it's been very important for me not to let powerlifting go. It was that one thing that was holding on with everything. Like, you know what, I need this to keep myself sane, and to keep Marina
Yes.
apart from everything else.
Apart
So
from being Marina the mom, of course,
exactly,
you are Marina you yourself. Something that is done for you as
exactly,
as a woman,
perfect.
as a person. Yes, I can imagine that because I am not a mother, but my best friend recently is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was kind of a mess and quite of wow, everything going around her head. We came apart in at that point because she cannot handle herself.
Hmm.
So about the hormones, about everything that was going around because it was totally a completely new world. So yeah, I think that it's very important, and thank you very much to you for not letting something, whether a sport, a hobby, whatever that makes you happy, left behind, apart
Yeah.
from being a mom. So motherhood cannot consume you at that
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can just guess and expect that it's going to be very, very stressful for you and for every woman.
Yeah, absolutely. Even when I felt like I couldn't really do things because, I hadn't had any sleep, I would still go and try, and it was still a moment where I would find within me, and I would just try. But yeah, I feel like, at the same time, not every mom have this privilege of, obviously, some moms, they don't have anyone to rely on, they don't have
Yeah,
anyone to watch their baby, so they can't go back to it. So I feel like in that way, I was very privileged to have my mom, to have, to be able to still, continue doing it, and yeah, still continue doing something for myself, because not everyone has that,
yeah.
unfortunately. Like, yeah, it's something that people forget sometimes, that a lot of moms literally don't have time for themselves. And yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Well, as I was mentioning before and off camera, I cannot imagine that.
Yeah.
Because as you mentioned that we all romanticize motherhood and this is the best thing that it can happen to every woman in the world and every woman has to be a mom at some point of her life. I don't think the same because it's not for everyone
It's
and
not for.
not everyone feel the things or the sense to be a mom.
Hmm.
Uh, and it's totally respectful in respectfully of them. Sorry, but yes, it's very nice to upload pictures and upload videos and share the whole process. And everyone is like, oh, she's having a baby, she's living the moment. This is the best thing that it can happen to her. But
Yeah,
behind
well, it's
doors,
when you're by yourself in the middle of
yes,
awake, and it's like a very lonely period of time. I feel like for a mom, because I would say even if you have a partner that's like right there with you by your side helping you, it's still most of the time. I would say, especially in this first 6 months, the baby really, really needs the mom. So even if you have people that are there to help you, it's like there's only so much they can do. And it's a very. I remember my baby was up a lot at night in the middle of the night, and I would wake up and I would be
oh,
like, yeah, it was. You get so exhausted. I feel like I got so exhausted and I felt like I was going crazy a lot of the time. I felt like, oh my gosh, and you get mixed feelings because you love that baby so much. You want
yeah,
to nurture it, you want to protect them, but at the same time you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted, I can't do this. I just wish I could have a break. And you go
and you
so
can have
it
it.
has the great side, and then it has the difficult side. And but yeah, people tend to only see the good side because it's also what most women show. I feel like a lot of women are a bit ashamed or a bit not so comfortable in talking about the hard side, the dark side of,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, because you are being dramatic. That's not that hard. You
Yeah, and
cannot
I
see motherhood in that way because it's beautiful. And no, it's not.
it
It's tough. It's the same
is
as sport.
it's
But
but it's also dark. Hard.
yeah, yeah, I just can imagine, as I was mentioning before, because my best friend told me those
Yeah.
things that she felt something about the baby that was not that I don't love him. It's
Hmm.
something quite rare for her. It's dark, as you
Yeah.
mentioned. It's
Yeah.
like I'm going crazy. I cannot do this
Yeah.
anymore. I need a break, and you
Exactly.
can't.
And
But
it's I feel like that thing with loving the baby, I feel like love is something that you build, and I feel like now the way that I love my baby is different from when she was born.
yeah,
And I
I
would say
was
that,
going to ask you
yeah,
that.
yeah, I would say that when your baby's born, you have that you have a feeling. There's a feeling that comes with it, and is the feeling of is it I feel like is instinctive. Is like I need to protect this baby. So that I feel like that is the first feeling that comes with it. When you see your baby and you're like, okay, my baby's here and I need to protect it. But it's not necessarily love just yet. It's like it's a different feeling. It's like it's a feeling of I feel like it's a very natural thing. It's like literally what uh what a dog would feel, what a cat would feel with their puppies,
Yeah,
with their
it's
kittens.
it's something natural. It's an instinct.
Exactly. So that is the first feeling that you get when you have your baby, like that. Oh wow, I need to protect it,
I have
to
to put
protect.
it.
And then yeah, exactly. And then you start building your relationship as the days go by, and then you start really then the love starts to flourish. The feeling is there, but it's not because yeah, because when we think about love, and it's hard to say that you just saw something and you love it. You just saw a
Yeah,
baby,
of course.
you immediately love it. Obviously you have it's a different feeling, and then I feel like love comes with the yeah with the day-to-day stuff.
Yes, I can imagine that. But dear, it came to my mind something. How did you like overcome the being exhausted and without your sleeping hours properly done with training? How did you handle that?
I have no idea. I still don't know. I still don't. And trust me, my baby now that she's 1 and like almost 1.5, she's never been a great sleeper. She would wake up a lot through the night until she was like until not too long ago. She would wake up a lot, and I feel like it's what I tell everyone. I just got used to it. There's a point. I feel like there's a point. Obviously, at the beginning is crazy, and then there's a point when your body just switches. Your body something just clicks, and you're like, okay, this is my reality now.
This is the
So
thing.
yeah, your body just finds a way to kind of adapt, and then obviously you find ways to rest when you can. At the beginning, like I would, whenever my baby would go to bed, like let's say she would go to bed like at 8 o'clock, I would be in bed already. I'll be with her. I just couldn't do anything else. I would
Yeah,
come
you
to bed.
have to sleep.
Yeah, that would be. Sometimes I wouldn't even eat. I was like, I'm just so tired. I can't get up. I'm just gonna stay here and sleep. So yeah, that was that. But at the beginning, I really don't know. I feel like, yeah, and I had to take it easy. Obviously, with my training, it was a process
Yeah.
until I got to doing things. So yeah, I didn't train every day as well. I still don't train now. Before I used to train 6 days a week, so from Monday to Saturday.
Hmm.
Now I'm training 4 times a week, and I feel like I definitely need those extra days to kind of like to recover better and to rest. I feel like I need that more of that rest time because because my life is a bit more on the go now, and I don't get as much time to rest or to do like it's so funny because my time before was so different. I used to have so much time. I used to do I have this time now to do my mobility work and
Yeah.
this that and stretch and foam roll, and now I don't. Like I literally have to squeeze in sometimes like a few things here and there, but
Uh-huh.
it's so crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it changed.
Yeah,
It definitely
have to
changed.
adapt. Yeah, you adapt and you find ways. You find ways to fit things in your new reality, and yeah,
Yeah.
you find ways to cope. I listen to myself as well. If I'm not feeling great, if I feel like it's really not working, I will take a day. I'll take a step back.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, and just keep it and letting my coach know. If I'm not sleeping at all, I'll let him know. Listen, I had a crazy night. I'm
I
not going.
cannot do this.
But yeah, but I'll say, and even with that, it's funny because like, I competed not too long ago,
Uh-huh.
which was my first time after having my baby, and I always sleep so poorly the night before a competition because obviously I get it's the nerves and then I'm like, you know what, I'm used to it now. It won't even affect me.
Yeah.
It's fine. Exactly.
That's an advantage, huh?
Yeah, no, and I do feel like the whole becoming a mom situation I was excited to see how it was going to be competing after that and if anything changed. And I feel like I'm just more. I feel like I can go through anything now. Like
You are
it's
bulletproof.
yeah, exactly. I've been through like so many really stressful situations and things that I couldn't imagine and like places that were really crazy mentally. So now I just feel like, yeah, I've been through it. I can do anything.
Yeah, you can do literally you can do anything.
How it feels. It's how it feels.
Yeah, and maybe this is very personal, but are you breastfeeding?
Yes, I'm still
Yeah.
breastfeeding. Um,
I was going to ask you something related to that because I understand, if I am not mistaken, that while breastfeeding, even when you are not an athlete, you have to like feeding
eat.
yourself like very very much and very very in a good way, I will say, in a very nutritional way. You have to keep an eye on your macros. So how did you handle that?
Well, I do have a nutritionist that like kind of like guides me in that. She's also a power lifter, which is really great. She's probably been the first nutritionist that I've ever been to that really clicked, and that was really like, oh yeah, this really works for me. But then again, she understands how I train, so it makes things a lot easier when a nutritionist knows what you're doing and how your training
Yeah.
is going. So she was like, she actually doesn't really deal with like mums or anything, but she was like, oh, it's gonna be something challenging and new for me, and she was happy to do it.
Oh,
But yeah, you, I thought that I used to get hungry when I was pregnant, but breastfeeding it just makes you like, it makes you so hungry and so thirsty. It's
yeah.
crazy. Now obviously my baby, she already eats, so I breastfeed her a lot less, but she
Yeah.
still breastfeeds, and yeah, she was exclusively on breastfeeding for like her first 6 months of life, which I feel like, yeah, that's when it's more demanding, because that's literally all that the baby's having. And yeah, your body is working so hard to, this is another
To
thing, right? Like,
produce.
right, I have a completely different perspective that I used to before, of moms now. We literally are superheroes. Like, we
Yeah,
literally like, the
that's
fact
not
that your
even for
body,
debate. That is a fact.
yeah. So yeah, producing milk, going through, postpartum, your body going back to normal, everything is just like, it's magical. I'll say it's magical, and it's incredible. It's amazing what the body is able, and those are the things that make me feel like, you know what, I can push it, I can do this, I can
Yes,
lift that, because my body is capable of some crazy things.
yes. There is an analogy of that with an elephant being changed. Something that is quite like in Spanish, I say the idiom, but in English I cannot remember it well. But if it's something like, if the elephant knows how strong he is, he wouldn't be changed.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
he will change, break the change immediately because of the knowledge of their
Yeah,
strength. Yeah.
exactly.
So
So that's
yes, sorry about the comparison, but it's just for the analogy.
No, but that is something that comes with becoming a mom as well. You suddenly realize how powerful you are, um, and yeah, and how capable you are, even when you feel like you have nothing in you, and yeah, which is the main thing about being a mom. And you wake up, and even if it doesn't matter how you feel really, because you're gonna get up and you're gonna do what you need
You
to
have
do.
to. Yeah, you feel the
Exactly.
obligation of that.
That's it. And I feel like being an athlete kind of prepared me a little bit in that sense, because you don't always want to train, you don't always want to do your accessories, you don't always want to do things. Exactly, you don't always want to eat where you're supposed to eat, you don't always want to do the things that you're supposed to do, but you just get up and do it, because that's, you just kind of like, that's part of the process. You just get up and do it. It's discipline. So yeah, being a mom is about having discipline as well, and all at the same time, not having a choice. But
Yeah, maybe when you are a professional athlete, you as well, you don't have any choice
yeah,
but to keep
exactly,
going. But
exactly,
yes, it is quite easier if you like decide suddenly to end your career, but you cannot end being a mother.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah, so I think that it's very, very strong for your mind to be in that way, that being obligated, but you do it for love because you have to protect your baby. So I guess that it, as you mentioned, it is a mixing of feelings and new feelings as well.
Hmm.
So yes, I just can imagine that, as I was mentioning. I I hope that someday I can becoming a mom, as I was
Yeah,
mentioning to you, but I am not prepared for now. But
yeah.
yes, I keep discovering things, and I love to talk with mothers and new moms. And especially, I haven't had the opportunity to talk with a mother that is a power lifter too.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for your very lovely advices and vision of not romanticizing motherhood,
No,
especially
yeah,
in sports.
no, yeah, and make sure that that you're able to ask for help if you need to, and don't feel weird or guilty. I feel like it's very important to let women know that we do go through a very dark place in the first few months. Not all women go through the same things, obviously.
Yes, of
A
course.
lot of us do, and a lot of us feel it's even a little bit desperate when, because yeah, 'cause when you have a baby, you have that baby there, and you're like, suddenly it's like, okay, it's on me now. I have to do this. Yeah, it can be very not it can be, it is very challenging. And so yeah, I feel like I felt guilty. I felt a lot of guilt at the beginning when I had like those hard feelings, when I felt angry, when I felt irritated, when I felt sad, and then I would look at my baby and, oh my gosh, I can't be feeling these things. Well, yeah, you can. It's normal. Those are feelings that, we're human, and it's normal to feel tired. It's normal to not be happy during those periods of time because you're tired. You're not going to always be happy. You're going to have happy moments, and you're going to have really low moments as well.
Wow. It's very shocking. As I was mentioning, I cannot wait to be a mom, but I am thinking about it.
No, yeah,
Because
not
it's
every
challenging, but
experience is the same. Even with pregnancy, a lot of women go through different things during pregnancy and during when their child is born, and even the babies. Babies are different. And this was something that was hard for me as well, because I started reading so many things, and there are a lot of things on Instagram as well. There's suddenly, when you're pregnant, when you become a mom, all these pages pop up for
yeah,
you, and all people saying, oh, you need to do this, you need to do it that way. And that was a period of time that I was just like, oh my gosh, I was driving myself crazy trying to do things in a specific way, but it wasn't working for me or my baby. And
yeah,
then once I realized that, I just need to go with the flow and go with my gut, with my instinct,
mhm,
what feels right for me and my baby, and what's not super stressful. So when I realized that, you know what, I need to just do my thing. People, it's not a rule book. You can't just be following things, like expecting every child and every mom and every experience of motherhood to be the same. So when you let go of those things, then you're able to start enjoying it, and you're able to start doing things in a more easy way. If that makes any sense.
yeah. No, it totally makes. I was thinking about the fact of comparison with others and other processes, because you start like stressing around the fact that your baby is not still walking, is
Yeah.
not eating at that time, is not speaking yet. Why is she not speaking yet? If other babies start speaking at that time, others walking while mine is just sitting in the couch.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, there is no such a right time to do things. But I understand that it's very hard for moms to not pressure yourself to and your baby to do
Yeah.
things that she's not preparing, or
Yeah.
he's not prepared to do so. So it's very difficult to understand that, and to be able to say, hey, it's my time, it's her time, it's his time. There is no such a thing that perfect timing.
Yeah, not rushing, and not wanting to have, you know, and also accepting how your child is, because you see, I am someone that's very chill, laid back, I'm calm. My child is very energetic, and she doesn't stop. And sometimes I see other children, and I see quiet children. They're quiet. They sit there and they play with their little toys. They don't. And my child is not like that. So I can't. So yeah, that's it. You have to accept, and you have to cherish the child that you have, innit? Because you can't wanting or want to change her. She's the way she is. She's very smart. She's very active. She wants to be on top of things. She wants to climb things, and
Oh,
that's her. That's how she is. She's not a calm baby. She's not
yeah.
quiet, you know. And yeah, I just have to roll with her. It's her world.
Yeah, that's her thing, and she will be for the rest of her lives. And yeah, it's just a style, very different from yours, but it's her style.
Exactly, and I have to respect it. Period.
Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yes, and of course, speaking about accepting things, as you mentioned before many times, but have you been frustrated
In motherhood.
in motherhood or powerlifting in your life in general, dear? How did
Oh,
you face being frustrated?
how did I?
Faced being frustrated.
Being frustrated. I've been through a lot of stuff in my life, and I definitely do get frustrated. We all do sometimes. Um, how 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 do I do it? I can't say that I always do in a great or healthy way with frustration. I try to. I try to, center myself, gather myself, and remind myself of the things that I've been through, and I feel like the frustration we live in a world where now we've been talking about, we compare ourselves to others a lot, and a lot of the time we don't know the people that we are comparing ourselves to. We literally just have an image of them, or we just see them on social media, and social media is such a small part of people's life. We literally just show people whatever we feel like.
Yeah.
So if I'm feeling pretty, I'm gonna put something there, and that's you're only gonna see me on my pretty day. You're not gonna see me on my ugly day, because I'm not gonna be fit, because maybe I won't feel like sharing it. So it's such a and yeah, I feel like a lot of frustration comes from that comparison. So I try my hardest to remind myself that I am on my own path and that everyone has their own path. Um, Being an athlete is hard, in that sense, because we do that a lot. We look at a competition and we compare ourselves. This is what we do.
Yeah.
It's not we
It's
naturally just.
natural.
But so yeah, trying to find that small line, that thin line, that you stay in between, feeling motivated by that small frustration, or that by that comparison, you know so being you have to kind of like, yeah, find a balance between letting that motivate you, instead of letting that make you f- make you feel like bad, or shrink you, or paralyze you, because you can look at something and be like, oh my gosh, this person is doing this, so why am I even here, if I'm not. But so yeah, I feel like you have to let that motivate you. If that person is doing it, then that means that it's possible.
Yeah,
Why?
of course. If you think that it is impossible, it is. Period.
Exactly.
That's it. So
So,
if you don't see it in that way, it is not. It's hard, of course, but it's reachable.
hmm
That's the thing.
yeah.
So yeah, very good mindset, I will say, of yours to
Thank you.
think in that way.
A lot of
Okay.
courage, quite some a lot of books as well that I've that I've read about,
Yes.
certain specific things. Yeah, I'm very into reading, and now not as much, as I don't have as much time
Yeah,
to do.
I imagine.
But yeah, I have been for a long time into reading, and into, getting to know myself, getting to know my feelings, um, the whole idea of energy, mindset, all of those things are very interesting and appealing to me. So I try to connect to those things as much as I can, um,
Yeah.
and that with
Thank you very much for being that kind of person, because most of people don't know and don't stop like analyzing things and certain ways of why is this happening, what can I do in order to avoid these things in future,
yeah,
what could I be doing done sorry better in this way, how do I face this in the future, so on and so forth. So thank you very much for being that self-aware of you and human beings in general.
everyone around.
Yes.
Yeah, we have
Yeah,
to.
thank you very much for being so informed. I will say.
Yeah, I've been through some stuff that kind of made me realize in my life that I had to take ownership of my life. I couldn't just live life letting things happen to me. I needed to live my life making things happen, instead of letting things happen to you, but going there and actually making things happen. So I feel like when you switch from that one mentality to another, which I feel like is it comes with maturity. Because yeah, when I was younger, I felt like life was happening to me, instead of I was creating life.
Making my life
Yeah,
happen. Yeah.
exactly. And now and then, when that little thing switches, then you realize, like, yeah, no, I'm actually in control, and I have a lot more control than I think that I do, and I'm able to build a life, or things in my life, um I'm able to choose, and because that's the thing, we have free will, and sometimes when we're younger, it doesn't feel like we do. Now, and I'm not saying like younger, super young, but just like early
Yeah.
20s or something. There are periods of time their life gets very confusing, and you feel like things are just happening, and why is this happening to me? But it's because of our own choices 99.9% of the time.
Wow. It's a very impressive thing to find people like you.
Oh, thank you.
And yeah, I'm very grateful for this opportunity because at some point of my life I have been feeling the same, that I
Mhm.
have to be like ready for everything because the world is against me and I have to take so many choices sometime and all at once and blah 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 and I feel like I was the only one, but you are never the only one, of course. But it's always good to find someone else that is being like in the same things or have been through kind of the similar things of you and have been taking the same choices of being informed and try to understand the process and make things happen
Yeah.
instead of letting things happen to you. So thank you very much. You don't know how meaningful is this
Oh,
for me.
I,
I'm truly saying that.
that's amazing. That's amazing.
And I hope that for someone else that is listening to this in the
Yeah,
future, is going to be as meaningful as is for us in this moment. Oh, thank
hopefully.
you very much.
Definitely.
Okay, and besides, my dear, being stronger or becoming stronger in mind or body or strength itself, which changes would you say that powerlifting gave to your life?
Um, well, powerlifting has also allowed me to get to know so many great individuals and so many great countries. I've traveled so much for a competition that is so special because I'm definitely someone who loves traveling. I love being out there. Um, I love getting in touch with different cultures than mine. I've lived abroad, and even in Brazil, I've lived in different places. So I'm very passionate about that. About yeah, just putting myself in different environments and learning um different things, and I'm not just when I say I like the culture. I like cultural shocks. I like having that
That moment.
yeah, I love meeting people from different places and being in different places, and I feel like powerlifting obviously has allowed me to do that. And like I said, I've made so many great friends as well. I've met so many people that think like me and that found in powerlifting the same meaning that I have found. Even you, even talking to you, and we've already established so many of those little things in common. Like, so I feel like that's been so special, and I don't. Maybe I would have gotten that through a different sport, but I don't think I would have been in a different sport. I feel like, yeah, I was powerlifting was definitely meant to be.
Yes, that, as I was mentioning before, it's incredible how we share that vision of powerlifting because it happened to me as well. I tried so many sports before, so many team sports as well,
Yeah,
but I have never felt this way for any sport.
yeah,
So it's meant to be. That's the
definitely,
thing, and it cannot be explained, as I was mentioned at the beginning of the interview. It cannot be explained. You have to feel it.
exactly.
Yeah. So thank you very much for that. Okay, and well, I lost the track. Yeah, here it is. Sorry.
No
According to
worries.
you, my dear, because the interview itself, it's going so well. So that was I was kind of lost. But for starters, powerlifter, my dear, what do you think is the best advice or the first thing that you have to be aware when you start powerlifting?
When you start powerlifting, that's funny because I see a lot of people giving tips to powerlifter to the people that are starting off. And I feel like the only thing that you really need to know is I feel like you really need to know the rules, which is something so simple, but that a lot I see a lot of people that go to their first meet, and even coaches as like that are like literally just beginning, but I feel like they don't know the rules, which is such a basic thing. You know,
Yeah,
if you wanna start powerlifting, and if you actually want in the in terms of if you wanna start competing, you need to know the rules. That's basics, and that's literally all you need to know. You don't need to worry about records. You don't need to worry about fitting a weight category. You literally just need to worry about having that little experience, and not bombing out on your first meet, or just doing the right things. um what would I kind of I lost myself now. What was what's the question again?
no, don't worry.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can. We can take the idea from there. That being informed about what is powerlifting and about the rules whenever you attend to a meet, it's quite important. Not only for coaches, but for
exactly.
you as well.
Oh,
Because
yeah. I'm a referee as well, and I've been in competitions where the athletes coming out of the platform, and they don't know why their movement was not valid. So I mean, you don't know the cards, you don't know the lights, you don't know what the things mean. It's gonna make things confusing for you, and if you don't understand what you're doing there, it's gonna make it less likely that you will enjoy it, because you don't know what you're doing wrong. So how can you improve? How can you come
yeah,
back? Get it right. So I feel like that's so basic, and a lot of people give great tips and give tips how to do this, how to do that. Just read the rules book. I feel like that's
that will be it.
all you need. No, not really.
Yeah, yeah, it needs to still do because the rules are changing
Yeah,
constantly. So you have to keep updated about it. That's the
definitely.
other thing because you cannot be like left behind with that because there is new rules and new rules that coming up that maybe you are not aware of because you didn't take the time to read the
Yeah,
update of the rules.
do research,
Yeah,
whatever.
that's it.
But I think
Yeah,
that
it
yeah.
happened here in Chile. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say with that, a lot of people feel like they need to be ready to compete as well, in a sense that they need to have. I feel like some people in their mind they need to have a minimum of weight that they put themselves, they set themselves, oh, until I hit this I'm not going to compete. And competing is so much more than just actually lifting weights. The experience itself. You're never going to be a great competitor if you don't compete. So
Yeah.
if you're good at it, you have to do it. You have to do it. It doesn't matter that you're not, it doesn't matter that you feel like, oh, everyone in my weight category is doing so much more. It doesn't matter, because it's the experience itself, and actually
Mhm.
going there and competing in that environment, because it's so much different than lifting in the gym. It's
Yeah.
completely different. You have equipment, you have specific equipment, you have specific clothes, you have referees, you have this, you have that, you have to weigh yourself. So yeah, if you yeah, exactly, just if you want to be good at competing, you have to do it. It doesn't matter. You don't have You shouldn't go to a first competition feeling like, oh, I need to hit this, or I need to win, or I need to get this. No, you don't. You literally just need to be there and try to, and try and get a
And
total.
compete.
That should literally be your goal. If it's your first time, you should literally be just aiming to get a total, and to, enjoy and learn. Period.
Yeah,
That's it.
an experience that that's the thing. You have to collect experiences.
Exactly.
Not medals at first, I will say for everyone, but
No,
experiences.
experience, yeah, knowledge, and yeah, and be in that environment, and then like, putting yourself out there, because there's a lot of people that don't deal well with pressure, or being nervous, and that's gonna happen in the competition. So you have to get used to that. If you wanna, if you wanna,
Yes.
yeah, you have to be able to get your mind in check, and I feel like that is probably the hardest thing about competing.
Yeah, maybe you are the one that is going to like the pressure and
Yeah.
you don't know. Or maybe you are going not to like being able to overcome that pressure, sorry, I'm mixing in Spanish, that pressure, but you don't know.
Yeah.
So how would you know if you
have to
don't
put
compete?
yourself out there. Yeah, in order to find out.
Just like show up and that's it. We will figure it out in the go. And that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it's kind of a same that I mentioned to my friends at the gym because they like love seeing you with your singlet and your equipment and your belt. Like I can do this. I want to do that. I want to become a power lifter. And they have great kilos with them, but they don't have the courage to go to a meet, and that's totally fine with them. But whenever you see potential in someone else, it's like, why wouldn't you compete?
Yeah. Kind of just
It's
want to
just a
shake
fear
them.
of
Just
competition,
go.
that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy
Yeah. I just
because you can
have
mention,
to put
yeah, you
yourself out.
can mention, you can mention it in many times, but they will not feel like it.
Yeah.
But there is no such a thing like the great timing for everyone, the right timing, as
No.
we were mentioning before. So
There's-
yeah,
Don't wait. Just go out there and do it and gather experience, and that's it.
yeah, very good advice. I will say the same for starter powerlifter, that they have to be in a meet. That's
Yeah,
it. Maybe just to figure it out if they like it or not. That's an important thing because you
exactly.
can train powerlifting for a very long period of time and then you go for a meet. Finally, when you have kilos according to yourself, when you
Yeah.
feel like it, but then you don't like the environment and you spend so many years training for nothing.
Yeah, and you don't like it, and then you find
You
out
see,
that you
for
don't.
something that is not your thing. Yeah. So that will be no so good experience, but very good advice for new power lifter. Thank you very much, dear.
Yeah.
And well, let's continue with this. What are your future plans? Let's see something as much as you can share of as you want to share with us, of course.
Yeah, so sure. I'm not really a secretive person. My future plans right now. Well, I just compete that we have this thing in Brazil, and I don't know, not every place is the same in terms of how the competitions go. But in Brazil, you have to compete like you have to do regionals, and then in order to do nationals, in order to be called for any of the international competitions. So 2024, I wasn't able to. Uh, no, 22, yeah, 2024. Now I'm going to be able to compete regionals, which is probably going to be for me around November time, towards the end of the
Mhm.
year. So I'm using this period of time. I did a meet in the end of May, and I was in the UK, so I did it there. It was literally just for like just that comeback after having a baby meet after so long
Wow. Uh-huh.
without competing. So it was just that comeback, which was great. And now I have all of this time to build. And then yeah, like I said, I will compete. That is my plan to compete again in November, which will be regionals, and
Hmm.
then I believe the nationals in Brazil are usually around February.
Okay.
Yeah, and then from nationals, I will be able to know what 2025 is going to look like. If I'm going to be called for, South American, for World,
American. Yeah.
yeah, for all the international ones. Finger crossed. I'm very hopeful, and I am very positive that I will be, that is in like that I'm, that is my goal, to do well at nationals next year, and yeah, and go for the international ones again, which is kind of like where I started dreaming about, yeah, being at the top in terms of, yeah, in terms of world championships. That is my biggest dream. I
Hmm.
I kind of allowed myself to dream about getting a podium, at some point when I was at Worlds, I started allowing myself to believe in myself,
Yes, of
that
course.
believe that I can achieve that. And I'm still there, you know. I still believe, and I'm gonna keep working and trying to get there. Hopefully I'll
Yeah,
get. So yeah,
yeah. I
that's
would love
how.
to see you there at some point of your career. Yes, of course. It's
Yeah,
everyone's dream, so why not?
yeah, and I feel like I'm always very supportive and a little bit extra supportive of South American powerlifters, because I do feel that things are not as easy. Not as, I wouldn't say as easy, but for a lot of us is hard. It's hard to find places to train. It's hard to find equipment.
Yes,
The So yeah, we know what it's like in kind of like in South America. Not everywhere, not for everyone, but for a lot of us, it's just that tiny little bit harder. So I'm always happy when I see, yeah, South Americans doing great things in like at Worlds and things like that. Makes me happy.
yes,
Like, yeah, let's go.
yeah, of course. Yeah, and as I was mentioning before, I hope to see you there again.
Yeah. And yeah,
In- in-
hopefully we can be. I'm hoping that we can be in South Americans are already like 2025 this year. Like I said, 2024 now is going to be in Argentina. Unfortunately, I wish I could go, but I can't
in
because
2025 is in Chile.
is it going to be in Chile? Okay, perfect then. Then we'll definitely see each other. Yeah.
Yes, I would
Hope
love to. I would love to spend some time with you.
great. Yeah,
So,
that is from now, 2024. I can only say that my goal is to build a greater total now, like an expressive total, like something nice, and we'll see how that goes up until November. Yeah, but up until I peak again for actually compete. Uh, Excited. I don't like actually spending that such a long period of time without competing, but
yeah,
I kind of decided now, and I'll have to roll with it.
yeah, it's the hunger of coming back, like in a full way,
Yeah,
like international way, as I was used to. Yes,
yeah.
I share that. Okay, dear. And well, apart from reading that you already mentioned and traveling around, do you have any other hobby that you still practice in your free time? If you have
And
any free time now?
hobbies apart from powerlifting,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Being a mom is kind of taking all of my time. You know, I
Yeah.
do. Yeah, I used to really enjoy reading. I do. I am very spiritual, so I do like meditation. I do like tarot. I do like astrology a lot. I'm very into those things. So whenever I do have a free time, I like to play with. I have my little tarot cards here. Um, I do
Wow.
like to. Yeah, that is definitely my thing. Like I do like to to do things that make me feel connected spiritually, um, and that make me feel grounded. And yeah, I haven't been able to do it as much as I used to, but yeah, that is definitely something I'm into. Um, Astrology, yeah, like I said, astrology, just
Astrology.
looking into those things. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a girly girl as well. Before I used to love makeup as well. Before now, I hardly ever put on makeup, and if I do, it's like, and if when I do, it's like those tiny little bits, like quick, quick, quick.
Uh-huh.
But I do love those things, girly things. I live by the sea, so going to the beach and being
Oh,
in yeah, being near nature and around nature is very much something that I'm about. But hopefully soon my baby's gonna start going to like nursery and things like that, and I'll be able to
uh-huh.
have a little bit more free time. I need to go back to work as well. I haven't been working.
No,
Um,
okay.
yeah, I miss doing those things, and having that perspective. And right now it's still because I'm kind of doing it by myself. My Luna's dad, which is my baby, he's in the UK. So I kind of have to be, taking it, like doing it all of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully soon I'll be able to kind of like get myself and get my life back into,
Back. Yeah.
yeah,
Back
track.
into track. Yeah.
Yeah, just as she gets a little bit more independent, then I can um go back to doing my own thing, and actually find the new things that I enjoy doing, because like I said, a lot changes when we become a mom, and we have to, there are things that inevitably we have to let go of, and then onto building different hobbies, different things. So yeah, but yeah, I would say that my main priority is to kind of like have myself focused on my spirituality a bit more, because that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Let me just, I think my mom needs to get a nappy here. So
Yeah.
I
No, don't
just,
worry. Go for it.
Fralda! Sorry.
Okay, dear. No, don't worry about it. It's about being a mom.
She's gonna cry now because she saw me. But
No, but we are ending, so don't worry
okay,
about it.
well,
We are around.
towards the end. Mom.
Yeah, we are right in the final part.
Okay.
So, my dear, well, certainly, I didn't expect you to be as meaningful as you were for me personally. I know that for powerlifting community you are such an inspiration, but personally, I always say that you are like an idol for me now. And I didn't
Oh,
see it in that way, but
that's so
you are
sweet.
you look yeah, you look such a lovely person, such a kind person, and it's quite rare to find people like you in life, I will say. So thank you
Thank
very much.
no, oh, thank you. I appreciate that so much. That is so sweet.
No, don't worry.
And likewise, it's been great talking to you so far. You've made me feel very comfortable, and yeah, it's been easy.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I guess I had the same feeling that it flows very well.
Yeah, it's
So my
been easy.
dear, yeah, for me, I wasn't nervous at all. So thank you very much. And just to end this lovely conversation, do you have any advice for future generations of powerlifting women around the world in general?
Um, for powerlifting women, I would say my advice is take up space, and be confident. You know, just yeah, take up space in terms of take up space in the gym. The gym is not it's not only for people who look a certain way. The gym is for everyone.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so don't think that you can't be in a certain area, that you can't do certain things. Take up space, be there, be confident, do your thing. Don't worry about if I have anything to say about, for women specifically, don't worry so much about what you look like. Worry more about what you're capable of doing, because I know that holds us back a lot. Being a female, being a woman, we constantly have pressure about our looks, and we feel that, and we yeah, I feel like we stop ourselves from doing so many things that we want to do because we feel not confident enough. So yeah, I feel like I would say to future generations, work on your confidence, um, be unapologetically you. Um, yeah, just
Go for
that's
it.
yeah, exactly. That's what I can say. Be confident. Just
Don't worry.
yeah, be confident and yeah, go for it. You know, don't be brave. I would say for future female powerlifters, be brave, um, and put yourself out there with confidence.
Okay, dear. Those are very nice words for future generation. Thank you very much for being here. And
No,
we hope to see you very, very soon. Um,
yeah, you will.
of
You will.
course.
Def-
Of
You
course.
will.
Thank you very much. I'm going to stop the recording now and I'm going to save it.